What's going on, everybody? We're day 24 of the veg cycle for the new plants here. I'm going to check out these. This is the, what am I trying to say here? The Alpha Skunk Cheese. Got a black soldier fly sitting here chilling. We did, anyway. Now he's sitting on my hand. Oh, there he is. What I'm noticing on these plants is that these center line of these leaves, I know I got some thrip damage, but look at the red lines. I'm not seeing that in any other plant. Those center red lines in the leaves. Look how red it is. Then you come over here to like this is the Verde skunk. You don't see that deep red line, deep red vein in any other plant. Only that Alpha Skunk Cheese. That's by trying to remember who that's from. Purple Caper. I believe that's Purple Caper seeds. Let's see here. Yes. Alpha Skunk Cheese Fems. Pretty cool. It's something I haven't seen before. It's definitely not, in the. You can see it's a little bit of red streaking down there. That's probably due to a little bit of stress. I don't think it's lacking any nutrients. If it was, it'll grow out of it. We are starting to get a little bit better growth out of that one there. This one here is starting to. They're both about close to the same. You can see that one's a little bit taller on the left. Those have been slow. It's funny because the center dirt hole is the only spot that isn't connected. So there are some holes going underneath there. I was explaining on Let's Be Buds last night, or the night before, that there are holes. So the creek wall runs both, so there are two walls, of course. There's one over here, and then there's one on the inside. And this center place here butts up against the pond, and then we ran the wall here right on around, leaving the center open for us to grow. Everything else from over there all the way around to here is connected, except for this. But there are a few little spots in the creek walls that we left open where roots could, if they wanted to, find their way into that and grow up underneath there. But from what I've noticed, every single plant I've started in here really takes its time. It's a slow go, and then once I flip, it really takes off. The Divine Pine did that, and the GG4 Sherbert did that. Both of those plants started off way slower than the others, and then when we flipped, they just exploded. I'm not sure why that is. I know it's a lot more water in the center. I've definitely noticed that. I've been testing it with the with our meter, and it taps out the meter every time. So there's a lot of water, so that's probably letting me know that there is some stunting going on, like the microbes and they're probably somewhat drowning almost. But as the plant gets bigger and bigger and bigger, it starts sucking up more of that water and seems to grow out of it. Leave this. And the reason we've got a lot of pest damage is because it's surrounded by all this cover. I'm trying to keep it off of them. Doing the best we can. You can see the grass up in there is growing. We need to cut that. Go ahead and do that now. Long shears out here. I'm gonna try and reach over here and give you the best angle I can. This is like the third time I've done this. Yeah, just gonna make a few of these off. There we go. Anytime I see that grass or anything touching the cannabis plant, eats the leaf of the cannabis plant right up. So I know that's telling me that these leaves are way more tasty and more fragile than the tough and rough covers that we have around here. So the tough and rough, like this, is dog fennel. Nothing messes with dog fennel. Like no pest. It smells almost like a mint almost. And I chop and drop this. I believe it to be a natural pest deterrent because nothing, no fungal, no pest. When things land on it and use it for cover basically, but it grows like crazy. It's like the more you take, the more it wants to give. And we just chop and drop this stuff all the time. Once it gets up into like where it goes to seed, you can see where it's starting to go to seed. This is a great ground cover. It's going to spread, it's going to come over here. It's evergreen, it grows all the time. It's not going to die off with no light. Same with our white sage, although I don't like and I don't recommend white sage. All this stuff in here, it came in with the mulch. I don't recommend it because it really puts off these little white hairs. The seeds do, and they can get into your buds, but it makes a great ground cover. Got the fern here. It's always been here. It's been growing since we first put it in. We just trim it here and there. Look at the worm castings up underneath here. That soil is this stuff right here. This stuff right here. That is what we're looking for. Look at the little balls. Look at that. There's looks like a springtail or a rove beetle right there. Check him out. I think that was a baby rove beetle. But these guys are why we don't have pests in here. So all that, you saw me just pick up that little bit, and you saw that little, look like rove beetle or some type of arthropod, whatever you call them. They're called, we call them shredders. You know, they're the guys down there shredding. They're shredding all this. They're going through the sand and the silt and the organic matter, and they're shredding it up, and they're getting it ready for like the worm, and then they're getting it ready for the slug, and then they're getting it ready for the next stage and the next stage. It's the soil food web is really what this is about. If you don't know the soil food web, I highly recommend looking into Dr. Elaine Ingham and the soil food web and regeneration, and how sand, silt, and clay are key in regeneration. We have to have these sands and silts and clays. These are the things that are holding these nutrients. And when we put these nutrients in the soil, the sands and the silts and the clays, it gives our critters something to munch on, so to speak. It's food for them to turn into. This was all sand, silt, and clay. If you go back, you can watch me put it on. And in the next month, they run through it and they turn it into gold. Look how aggregated it is. Look how alive it is. Everything loves it. The worms run through it. Once the worms run through it, then it still gets run through again. And then we can push it over into our soil. Let it get run through again, and then it'll be available to our plants. Once it goes through its cycle and gets broken down to the point where the root can actually take it up, it is now available to our plants. So we're skipping this part. If you use bottled nutrients, which there's no problem with that, I got no issue with using bottled nutrients. People do what you got to do to grow. Me personally, I'm off the bottle now. I've realized that we don't need a bottle. If you have the time, if you have the space, if you have a little bit of knowledge, you can do exactly what I've done here. It is not that complicated once you have changed your mindset into realizing that this is a cycle. We are all connected, including me right now. I'm connected to this bed. Everything in this bed is connected. We are all connected in nature. So what I'm trying to get through to some people is that nature is malleable. It can be done many different ways. And the soluble nutrients that you're getting out of a bottle are the same nutrients that are being broken down by my critters, by the soil food web right now. But we need all aspects of the soil food web. We need the microorganisms all the way up to the birds and the bees. I don't have the birds, but I got the bees. We've got lizards. We've got, the whole soil food web. I'm going to take this bottom leaf here. Doesn't need to be here anymore. But that's what I'm trying to mimic is, and all these things, like this here. This is food now. Now that I've taken it off the plant, it can no longer photosynthesize. It can no longer send sugars down these veins. So these are veins, just like you have in your arm. And these veins are pumping, are just like arteries and veins. You know what I'm saying? They're arteries and veins. They're pumping, but it's all in one, basically, from what I understand. It's all in one vein. It's moving and flowing, all in that vein, all in these veins here, and it's going down to the root system. It's pushing out sugars that it has photosynthesized. It's taken light, turned into that simple sugar. As Elaine says, those cakes and cookies. That's a good smell. These things are full of water. So the cakes and cookies are then pushed out as exudates. They call them exudates. I think I'm saying that right. Exudates. But think of this as just like the same thing you do when we eat food. So we're going to put the cheeseburger in our mouth, we're going to take a bite, we're going to chew it up. This now has to go through a process. It has to go through a cycle. It has to start in your mouth. It has to be chewed up. You're going to swallow it, and it's going to go down through this tube. And this tube, inside this tube that this cheeseburger bite is going down into, you are not drawing energy off of that immediately. It has to go down that tube and enter into a whole nother world. All right, it's not you, it's another world. It is biology. It's acids and bacteria and all these different types of things that are breaking down your food so that it can be released into your bloodstream so that you can then draw the energy from whatever it is that you're eating out of the food. But this process has to be done through a biological process, a chemical reaction process. There's many different processes all in one that are doing this. You can't imagine the life that's in this soil right now. You want living soil. This is living soil. It is biology. It's the critters, it's the bacteria, it's the fungi, it's the whole soil food web. You need everything, the whole line. If you're missing a link, then we have to supplement. And this is where the bottled nutrients come in. If we don't have the elements in the soil for these bacteria and this fungi and all these different organisms to break down, then it won't be available to the plant if it's not there. So basically picture a buffet. Some plants like certain things, and some plants like everything. So the cannabis plant is a accumulator. It likes everything. It will go into Golden Corral or a buffet and put everything on its plate. It'll take a little bit of this, a little bit of that. It'll take a whole lot more calcium. It'll take a whole lot more, potassium and different things. But it also is going to take little bits of everything else. If you've got heavy metals, it's going to take it. If you've got, whatever's in here and being broken down and is available to the cannabis plant, the cannabis plant will take it up. It really doesn't care what it is it's eating. Now, when they flip to flower, from what I understand, most plants will pick and choose what they want. They'll cut off their nitrogen supply, even if there's nitrogen there. It'll cut it off and switch and start telling these exudates and these microorganisms to go out and mine, whatever it is they want. The potash and all the other elements on the periodic table. Like Elaine says, NPK is just not correct. It's the basics of what the plants can need, but it's the reason why we're so unhealthy in America right now, is because our bodies are living off NPK and NPK alone. It's why we need supplements to supplement all these other things, because we're growing our food with just NPK. And it's really simple once you realize that in your head that you are what, I know everybody's heard, you are what you eat. Okay, well, the plant is what it eats. So if it's eating crap is what it grows. You eat the crap, you feel like crap. If you feed the plant what it wants to be fed, healthy food, organic food, non-processed food, these critters turn this over a lot faster. They release these nutrients in the correct form. Now, a lot of people say that the plant doesn't know the difference between bottled nutrient and organically broken down regenerative. I call bullshit bullshit. I will call bullshit on that all day long, because I know in my heart and mind that the plant is just like me. It knows when it's eating crap. It knows when it's eating shit. It definitely knows what it wants, when it wants it, and it has been on this planet a whole lot longer than we have, and it's a lot smarter than we think. And if you feed it right, it's the same thing as if you okay, a better ingredient, where we heard this, a better ingredient makes better pizza. That's Papa John's, right? I see those advertisements all the time. Better ingredients, better pizza. Better ingredients, better food. The ingredient starts in the soil. This is where the mineral is coming from. We have to supplement these minerals in pills nowadays because the mineral has been stripped out of the soil. We have to replace this mineral, and by replacing this mineral, will be replenishing it into our food, and we eat the food and we get the mineral. It's really that simple. It's not rocket science. Once you understand and realize, like me, just 3 years ago, I didn't know any of this. I was completely oblivious to where I thought you had to take a pill to get these elements. But these elements are all around us. We're standing on them. If you're standing on bare soil or on the ground, you're standing on these elements. There isn't any land on the planet that doesn't have these elements. They just need to be properly broken down with biology. What we're missing is the biology. We've tilled, we've plowed, we've removed the topsoil where all the biology lives, and then built things on it, covered it with asphalt, covered it with it's common sense. It's not rock. This is where everybody wants to talk about carbon and storing carbon. Carbon is stored in the soil. Plants they create this carbon, they take this carbon and push it into the soil and then release CO2 for us to breathe. CO2 is very important for these plants as well. This IMO pit here is putting off, it's 100 degrees right now, and she is putting off some CO2. Guaranteed. But that's the basics of it's super complicated. And I wouldn't even begin to even try and figure out exactly what's going on, exactly how much calcium, exactly how much elements. Like a soil test, to me, worthless. I could take a little pinch of soil from over here and send it off, take a pinch from over there, send it off, and it comes back and it tells me I'm low in this, and this. So here I go dumping in this. And then I'll take another sample 6 months later and send it off. It'll tell me I'm over in this, and this. You're constantly chasing numbers, guys. It's worthless. It's pointless to chase numbers in a system that's constantly changing. It just doesn't make any sense. You can, in a pot, fine. If you're going to change out your soil constantly and you got to get that cocoa core to 77% calcium and, on down the line, then yes, you need to test that. If you're growing in a system like this or outdoors, okay, test one time, see what it is. Fix the problem, okay? Throw some lime out there. That's normally what people do. Throw some limestone out there and get the pH right. And then, just basically start adding biology. Biology will fix all your problems. The mineral is in the clay and the sand and the silt. We need to add the organic matter. The organic matter is where the biology lives. That's the home of the biology, of the critters. Then they leave the home, go to the clay, mine the clay, bring it back. So picture that in your head. Humans do it with gold. Bacteria and fungi and protozoa and all these things do it with whatever's available to them. Really, they're mining whatever's there, and if they can mine the good stuff, then that's what we're going to give them, the good stuff. And that's things like kelp meal, just sea kelp. Maybe once a year, do once a year type of sea kelp. And you don't even have to spread it out. You can buy a little bag of sea kelp make an extract with it with some fish fertilizer, some fish hydrolysate, some kelp, some worm castings. Boom, you're done. That's all you need. It's a killer recipe. Kelp, fish hydrolysate, worm castings, maybe a little lactobacillus lactis bacteria, a little EM1. Game over. You will see results. And it's all about the biology that we're feeding so that the biology can feed the plant. So when people say, I want to feed the soil, what they're really saying is, I want to feed my critters. I want to feed my bacteria. I want to feed my fungi. I want to feed my rove beetles. I want to feed my worms. I want to feed everything that's in that soil. I want to feed it. What do they eat? They eat organic matter. This is organic matter. It's that simple. I want diversity. I don't want to feed my plants just grass all day long. I want to feed them dog fennel. I want to feed them some sage. I want to feed them some river grass. I want to feed them some, I want to feed them some of this. I want to feed them some of that. I want a buffet. And let them choose, because they're smart enough to choose. And we have to understand that. And once we start to understand this, everything will come into play. Won't that right there, Coot? Huh? You don't care. Say, give me a damn worm, brother. Give me a worm. There's my shiner. Where'd he go? Oh, he disappeared on me. That's the original fish. Oh, and there's the plinko. See his head right there? He got nothing for you. He's like, you're not a worm. Then we got all the mollies in there. There's a shrimp. Look, even the mollies do not care about the shrimp. You think they would eat the shrimp? Look, the shrimp is out there waiting for the food as well. That's Plinko, named after the Price is Right show. I don't see Scooter, but he's in. Scooter, she's in there. Yeah, Scooter's the female, Cooter's the male, and Digger's over here dug into his hole over here. He's in that hole right there, dug way down in there, covered up. He's going into his hibernation because we're coming into winter, and he knows it. Even though he's inside here, he knows it's winter time. He knows it's time to dig in, and we probably won't see him until probably March or April. That's how box turtles are. Wow, I didn't realize it's been 30 minutes already, but I appreciate everybody hanging out, and we'll see you tomorrow. Yeah, have a great Friday evening or day. Peace.